This is Tom Rust for TRSB Sports Podcast, out of hours tonight. And once again, delighted to be joined by professional undefeated heavyweight boxer, Maximus Jenkins. Mate, thanks for coming on so late.
Well, yeah, it's a good job. Good job. I like you, edit, Tom.
Yeah, no, mate, we appreciate your time. Listen, mate, we all know how good Tyson Fury is, but tonight, was that the best punch of his career?
You're going to have to say it was. Tyson Fury, you know what? I mean, Tyson Fury was winning that from start to finish. Was a little bit annoyed at the ref for not deducting a point and for keeping him against the ropes like that. Was a little bit annoyed at that. And I felt the referee should have had stood it. If it was the other way around and White was doing that, I think it would have been deducted a point. It's just because he's A-side. Didn't like that. But from start to finish, Fury dominated, didn't he? Popping out. I found it unusual, White coming out in that first round. Southpaw. I was like, what was that all about? But no, you can't take anything away from Fury. He did the uppercut, and the uppercut seems to crook White a little bit because same thing happened against Prevekian. So he's gonna have to watch that. Now, yeah, I think it was class. Fury was class, to be honest.
Just a master class from him tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I thought with Fury. Do you know what annoys me about Fury, right? Not Tyson Fury. His dad has to fucking get in all the time, shouting the camera, "Fuck off! It's not about you." Sorry for that language, but piss off, John. No one cares about you. You know what I mean? It's about Tyson. It annoys me, John Fury. Get him off. You know what I mean? Do you know what? He spoils it. He spoils it for everyone. And that's what he does. He needs to stay. I know he's proud of his son, but he tries to make it about him too much. Just get off, right? It's about Tyson and his family and where he's come from, blah, blah, blah. Right? And he was fantastic tonight. And, you know, commiserations to White. I felt so sorry for him because I know he put a lot into it. And you know what? You know, yeah, Fury's probably, you got to agree, he's the greatest of the era.
Yeah, do you know what? I love heavyweight boxing. You see some big knockouts, but I always hate when fighters are knocked out and they're trying to get up. And White, you know, to his credit, tried to get up and was all over the place. You happy with the stoppage? You think the ref stopped at the right time? Didn't carry on?
Yeah, you can't argue that stoppage. I mean, what a masterclass uppercut. You know, he timed it right. And you can tell that Fury's where he is because of his skill level. Now, you know, you can't say he's the greatest of the era until he's faced Alexander Usyk. Then you can say it. That's going to be the burning question, because you can't just go 94,000 stadium like that in an arena like that and fucking retire overnight. You can't do that. That's going to be a burning question. Usyk, you can say he's a middleweight, he's this, he's that, but that has got to happen now. Then you're the greatest.
So you're saying in 25 years' time, when we have this conversation, let's say for argument's sake he was to retire, never fight again, you think people would look back and think, yeah, you beat Wilder, you beat White, you beat Klitschko, who held the title for so many years. You think, if he doesn't beat Usyk, people will question whether he was the best heavyweight of this generation?
Look, it's always a what if, isn't it? People.
Where do you stop though? You know, then if he fights Usyk, then has he got to fight AJ?
No, you don't have to fight AJ. AJ's a done conclusion. He's messed it up for himself, AJ. Eddie and them lot have messed it up for themselves. That ship has sailed. But Usyk fight, yeah, I think he's a zero as well. He hadn't lost. Fury hasn't lost. They both haven't lost. So it makes it more interesting. And they're both boxing technically gifted. Now, people got to stop saying about the size difference here. the size difference doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you can't hit the target. Look what happened to AJ. No disrespect, I know Fury isn't AJ isn't Fury, he hasn't got the same technical ability. But Usyk was sparring and putting the Klitschko's on their head before the Olympics. So surely that's the fight that's got to come next. He'll make a statement against AJ, knock him out. So, right, me and you now, Tyson, let's do it.
I think, like you say, after you've had a fight at Wembley, you know, the stadium of the home football, you know, the home football team in front of 94,000 people. And let's be honest, probably 90% of the people in there tonight were for Tyson Fury. To hang up the gloves now, it's got to be tough because, you know, you're going to have the Usyk fight and so many other fights offered to you. But if Tyson Fury was to retire now and not fight again, what do you think that, you know, he's done for British boxing?
Do you know what? He is a unique character of this era. You can't take anything away from him. You know, put on so much weight, come back, takes some doing that. A lot of people would be down and out at that point, and he's come back. It's like bloody Undertaker, isn't he? You know, he'll come back at you, and you know, he's gone against one of the most fierce punchers in boxing. You know, yeah, he is, but it's always that burning question, isn't it, with Usyk now? I want to see that, and I'll pay good money to see that as well. More so, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
No, tell you what I will do, yeah, I would pay good money to watch them two fight with the undercard we had tonight. Seriously.
Yeah, do you know what? With Fury, it always feels like the odds are being stacked against him. He goes out to Dusseldorf to fight Klitschko, gives him a boxing lesson. You know, after that, we all know what happens. He puts the weight on, suffers, you know, really bad with his mental health, puts on the weight, comes back. And again, a lot of people at that point thought, no, that's it. We're never going to see Tyson Fury fight. Goes and fights Wilder, goes away and fights, wins. And, you know, I just feel like tonight, you know, he deserved to be in such a big fight, a big occasion, not just a big fight for boxing. It was just a big sporting occasion.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem is what we got here now is he's had a marquee in such a, well, what was it? The best, Europe's biggest stadium fight in history. You know, so he's done that, and let's be honest, you know, Tyson has. So he's done all that off his own back, an remarkable achievement. To turn around overnight and retire from that, it's going to be pretty hard.
I think it's well documented as well. When he's training, he's at his happiest and seems to be quite content. I know, of course, he's not going to be short of things to do. He's talked about WWE, going to maybe do a bit of exhibition stuff, maybe a crossover fight. But going back to the fight, looking at it, you said just before we started, it seemed like Whyte never really got into it. He tried to make it scrappy at times. Is that just because of the levels? There's you know, they're both world class fighters, but Tyson Fury just seems to be on a level on his own.
Yeah, I mean, you had to give Whyte that fight because he's been WBC for a long time. He should have had this chance for a long time. So he needed this chance, but there's European standard, which Whyte is, but then it's elite world level. And there's levels, and Tyson showed that tonight. You know, he was going upstairs, downstairs, and it's almost like he was. It was a mixture of how he was the first Wilder fight and how he was in the second Wilder fight. It was a mixture between the two, and it seems like the game plan they had. Yeah, it seems like the game plan they had was just right. It was just correct. It was just down to a T. I didn't know what Whyte was doing with the southpaw stuff. Because no disrespect, you know, you're not going to outbox a boxer. And I think they were just trying to approach it carefully, but you just need to unfortunately, do what Wilder tried to put him in a bloody war and take the boxing sort of element out of it, if that makes sense. Try full on assault him. That's the only way you're going to beat Tyson, unfortunately. Wilder nearly did it. And to be fair, this was a better Tyson Fury than we saw in that third Wilder fight, if that makes sense. It was almost like he was back to his himself. There was, and he looked good. He did look really master tonight.
Most people I spoke to said before the fight, if Tyson Fury's at it, Tyson Fury wins. He did seem like tonight he was at it. What Whyte tried to hit him with some big shots. From watching it, it looked like Tyson Fury saw them coming a mile away, and he was hitting a lot of fresh air. But how hard is it when you're in there with someone who is so good, moves so well? Because I don't think we really look at Whyte and think, he's a great mover. He's, big body puncher, throws some big hooks. But again, it's just like it was just Tyson Fury's night, and he never looked, in my opinion, in trouble.
Yeah, and you know how he demonstrated that fight? Can you imagine AJ in there with him? I don't think it will be the same conclusion. We talk about this, the AJ and Tyson Fury. AJ wouldn't have bought much more than that. I mean, I believe if Dillian Whyte fought AJ, I believe Dillian Whyte would beat him, and that's the truth of the matter. Those two will be out.
I'm a big
again, and no, Dillian Whyte. But look, Fury's levels, he's demonstrated tonight, and it pains me to say it because my heart really wanted Whyte to do it, but Fury was just so. It was almost like it was art. He made it look like art tonight, and you saw it. You saw him. I said earlier on 8 rounds to 12. Fury doing it. It was at 6 or 7. Took him out. Was it 6 or 7? 7th round, he took him out.
6, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, look, I mean, Whyte will come again, but that was his shot, and it's blown. So what happens with Whyte? I mean, what do you think will happen with him now?
I just want to say I'm a big fan of both of them, and I feel for Whyte. He's waited so long for his opportunity. We all know what happened with Povetkin, but he soon put that right. But I think you alluded to a little while ago, it was almost like the same shot that Fury stopped him with. Povetkin found that shot as well, even though he was in control of that fight. I think it's a long road back. After waiting so long, it's going to be a hard one to take, and all the belts are tied up at the moment. So I think he'll come again. I don't know whether a lot of people say he will win a world title. I don't know. I would like to see him go on and win a world title. I'm a big fan of his, and I think over the last couple of weeks as well, I think we knew about his background, but it's been really well documented over the last couple of weeks. So, looking at his struggles and where he's been and where he is now, you can only give the man credit. He's a true professional. He's taken himself away from distractions. I think he was based in Loughborough. Now I think he's permanently in Portugal. So he lives the life. And tonight he was just in there with someone who was better, and there's no disgrace in that. But I think he'll come again. Whether he'll win a world title, there are obviously a few to win. Maybe he'll have to navigate a different route. However, who knows what Tyson Fury is going to do? Maybe we'll hang up the gloves, but we've seen boxers retire and come back. So
yeah,
I think he'll come again, mate. But I imagine he'll need to take a bit of time because it's going to be a hard one to take.
His pride is going to be really in bits after that, and I feel for him. His so-called brother Dean Whyte. I feel for him. I feel for the whole team, really, because I think they've worked quite hard on this, and it's what Fury had in the locker. I think Fury has everything in the locker. He has everything. He has an accolade of multitude of punches. You know, the only thing he's probably not great at is fighting on the inside, but he can still do it. You see what I mean? And you know, Whyte, he took stuff away from Whyte today, kept it at range, and if he did come up close, made sure he came up close. I think there was one instance where he nearly walked onto a shot, Fury, and he never did it again after that. I don't know if it was round 2 or round 3. He nearly walked on Whyte's left hook, but he missed. He sort of missed Whyte, and he never did it again after that. And I think he got bollocked by Sugar Hill in the corner for it. And it just showed he takes things in. And in between rounds, knowing it from, you know, my brief background and, you know, being in the corner, when someone's speaking to you, it's an art to take things in and relay them out in the ring, you know. And Tyson could do it all, you know. And when you got someone like that, I want to see Usyk, him against Usyk, you know. Bigger man will win, will the smaller man win? You know what I mean? I want to see that. That's what I want to see now.
I think, yeah, 100%, mate. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? I think Tyson Fury to have one more fight, win that, unify the division, go out, you know, how there's no other way to do it than to do that and go out on such a big high. I think tonight it was just a really composed performance. I think you summed it up well, actually. It was a bit of the first Wilder fight and a little bit of the second. He boxed well, but when he got an opportunity, he didn't hold back. But yeah, Whyte, mate, it's going to take a little while to come back. But I think if it was me personally, I'd probably give it a couple of weeks when he gets his money come through and look at my account and see that £8 million, and that'd probably cheer me up a little bit.
Yeah, it will cheer me up. I'll take it.
I mean,
when you take a knockout for £8 million,
I'd let you uppercut me for £8 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, if someone says, "Oh, would you let Nick Campbell uppercut you for £8 million?" I'd be like, "Yeah, all right then." I mean, you are able to do it, but you know what I mean. It's I wouldn't let him because you weren't able to do it, but that's a different story completely. Yeah,
it's a tough one because I really like them both, mate, and I felt for him when he was trying to recover, and when the ref obviously said, "Look, put your hands up, walk forward," and you know, obviously naturally it was all over the place. I really felt for him. So I really like them both. I almost didn't want there to be a loser, but of course there had to be one. Yeah. But mate, talking about other big fights, again, we appreciate you coming on so late. I think you're an hour in front as well, so we are grateful. Yeah. But just before we let you go, mate, your fight tomorrow, everything gone as well as it could. You good? You ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Ready, and you know, we're all weighed in and all that stuff, and you know, let's go. Let's ready to rumble. Let's let's marinate it. Let's go. You know what I mean?
What'd you weigh in at?
Just a touch above 19.1.
And what was the I think you was watching it in a pub today. What was the atmosphere like in there when you was watching the fight?
It was just in a small like corner sort of pub stuff, but then they end up closing quite early. So the lad I was with, my mate Tom, he said to me, "Oh, I've got a projector back in my house." So we went to watch it in his like man cave in his house, and it's like a massive projector, and so that's just as good. So yeah, I'm not fond of going in pubs and stuff anyway. So I'm not really. Nah.
What are you, more of like a fancy wine bar guy?
No, neither that. You know what? I'm an unsociable bastard. That's what I am normally, and I don't like drinking. It's not my atmosphere. Never has been really, to be honest. So, yeah.
Well, mate, what time is the fight tomorrow?
It will be at about 4 p.m.
4 p.m. And how many rounds?
3 minutes.
You looking for the stoppage?
Jan Setic, and he's 3 and 11, I think. He's a journeyman, but you know, can't be complacent. He took it straight away, so complacent against him.
They're all learning fights, though, aren't they? I think that,
yeah,
you know, what your second. I know you had the fight the other week, but that ended up being an exhibition due to the was it the bloke's medical?
Yeah, medical. They said so. Basically, 3 fights before I due to go out, he got pulled on his medical, and they said, "Look, you know, we've given you the money to fight. We've sold it as it was a heavyweight bout. You know." And you know what? When I just went out there and I just thought, you know, I wasn't as careful as I was. I was just caning my shots in. He just got careless all of a sudden. You know what I mean? There was no declared winner or nothing. It was just, that was it. It was just a war between two lads. It was like almost a hard sparring session, it turned out to be. So, yeah, so he got pulled as medical. So obviously we had to still do it and I got paid for it. This one is for real. So, you know, this is going to be, it's going to be a tasty one. He's a cruiserweight gone up to heavyweight, and he's had his last 3 bouts at heavy because he can't make weight. So, yeah, let's have it. Yeah.
Well, mate, we wish you all the best going into that fight tomorrow night. Again, it's late, so we will let you go. But just before we finish, mate, anything you'd like to add?
So this lad Thomas Newham, who I met out in prior, well, I made contact with him, and he watches this channel, he watches Porky's Corner. Great hospitality show me in the country here, brilliant. And anything else? Shout out to anyone? No, that's about it really. Just let's see this music and Fury fight happen. Let's see that happen.
Mate, would love that fight to be made, for Tyson Fury to unify the division, go out on a huge high. I think he deserves it. But who knows in boxing, mate, what will happen?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, top man. Well, I was going to say enjoy the rest of the evening, mate. There's not really much of.
No, I'll be going to bed now, mate.
Oh yeah. Oh well. I hope you have a good sleep, mate, and all the best for tomorrow, mate. But we'll catch up with you very soon.
Brilliant, Tom. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot.
Top
Cheers,
man.
mate.